The journey up to space is like no other to be found on Earth. It's one that so many of us dream of, yet only a select few of highly trained astronauts get to embark on. Who knows? Maybe with the developments in recreational space travel, we all might get a chance to fly up to be amongst the stars one day. For now, we'll leave it to the astronauts and the super rich. But is space travel a one-way ticket? Well, it might be if you are travelling to Mars, but astronauts aren't doing that just yet. Astronauts fly up to live and work on space stations that orbit our world relatively closely. Then, once they're finished, they are able to return to us. But how exactly do astronauts get back to Earth? It's time to find out. So before I give you the answer, please don't forget to hit the like button and do consider subscribing to my channel. So how do astronauts get back to Earth? Well, astronauts get back to Earth via what's known as a re-entry capsule. A re-entry capsule is a portion of the original spacecraft that is detachable from the main section. With a special aerodynamic shape and blunt bottom to protect it from the heat inside the atmosphere, the re-entry capsule safely transports astronauts back down through Earth's atmosphere all the way back to its surface. Sounds a little complex, right? Well, interestingly, all astronauts have to do is buckle up and enjoy the trip back down, which is perhaps a good thing by the time it comes around. Besides, they will have been in space for many months by that point and are most likely exhausted. So how do these re-entry capsules work exactly? What about landing, and how long does the journey take? Let's find out, shall we? Re-entry capsules work by detaching from the main spacecraft. They position themselves towards Earth and then drawn into the atmosphere by an increasing gravitational pull. They then descend through the atmosphere using their design to ensure the hostile speed and environment they travel through. Once through, re-entry capsules safely land at a specified set of coordinates. Let's pin some basic facts about re-entry capsules to the board. Re-entry capsules are about 5 meters in diameter, which allow for a pro-aerodynamic nature. They are designed for one use, although technology is evolving and we are starting to see space organisations, such as SpaceX, design reusable re-entry capsules. But how do they actually work? Let's walk through the process. Well, when it comes to time for the astronauts to say goodbye to space, they board the re-entry capsule. Now, the re-entry capsule will then propel itself towards Earth. Now, the closer the capsule gets to Earth, the stronger the gravitational pull becomes, meaning it will be drawn toward home. When it enters the Earth's atmosphere, it's safe to say that the temperature whacks up a notch. Luckily for the astronauts on board, the capsule has a blunt bottom which helps it endure these hostile temperatures in the Earth's atmosphere. Now, this blunt bottom and the capsule's aerodynamic shape are integral to the safety of any return landing from space. It's what makes them so enduring of high energy re-entries. Now, when the re-entry capsule impacts the Earth's atmosphere, the blunt bottom creates a shock wave that keeps the heat at bay, but only for so long. The heat is so intense that a re-entry capsule's surface temperature can reach 1480 degrees while it travels through the Earth's atmosphere. The re-entry capsule ensures that this heat doesn't go any further, reaching interior structures or perhaps even the astronauts themselves. This is what's called as an ablative heat shield. Now, this shield absorbs the heat, then it vaporizes, taking the heat with it. Now, heat isn't the only issue here. Re-entry capsules also have to be incredibly strong so that they can endure powerful forces faced when re-entering the atmosphere. Where are the astronauts in all of this? Well, astronauts lie down in the re-entry capsule because this is the optimum position for a human body to withstand the G-forces faced when the capsule races through the Earth's atmosphere. But don't assume that astronauts can enjoy a nap on the way down. It's not exactly going to be comfortable. Now, what happens once a re-entry capsule is through the Earth's atmosphere? Fortunately, the atmosphere acts as a natural braking system, slowing the re-entry capsule's descent down. Now, re-entry capsules are designed so that they assume an angled altitude, which provides them with a lift that is used for directional control. Now, reaction control system thrusters are then used to steer the capsule simply by using a rotating lift vector. Of course, astronauts aren't expected to pilot their capsule to a specific location on Earth. Mission control will use a propulsion system to send the capsule on a trajectory towards a specified set of coordinates. Now, the common locations of these coordinates will be discussed soon. Multiple parachutes can be deployed to slow the speed of the capsule's descent. Once safely landed, astronauts sit tight until they are picked up by a recovery ship, and the re-entry capsule will be salvaged, yet not used again. So, back to the landing. Where do astronauts land when they come back to Earth? Well, astronauts land on a pre-selected set of coordinates, often located in the ocean. Now, astronauts can't just land anywhere. They've got to land somewhere where it is safe, not only to land, but also to wait until they are picked up by their colleagues. This means that landing on top of a volcano or in the middle of a war zone probably isn't the wisest idea. The landing destination will also be pre-selected. It's not like astronauts drive re-entry capsules around looking for a free parking bay as if they were out shopping at Walmart. Astronauts just sit tight and wait for it to all be over. So where do they actually end up landing? Well, the coordinates chosen will vary between different missions as well as different space organisations. But one thing you can be sure of is that astronauts and their re-entry capsules land in an ocean somewhere. It's the safest place to land as the water can cushion the fall, allowing astronauts to float around until they are picked up. What ocean that will be will depend on what organisation the astronauts are working for. If an astronaut is working for NASA, then the chances are they'll land somewhere off the coast of the USA in the Pacific Ocean. Now you're probably wondering, how do they land? Well, astronauts land by undocking the re-entry capsule, propelling it at the right speed and angle toward Earth, then bracing for impact, and then they wait. Luckily, returning to Earth is part of an astronaut's training program, so they will be prepared for this final stage of their wonderful journey. They have to start by undocking the re-entry capsule from the main spacecraft and propelling it toward Earth. Now, astronauts have to ensure that it is travelling at the right speed and at the right angle without any margin for error. While this happens, Mission Control uploads the data required by the re-entry capsule's computer to steer you to the pre-selected coordinates. Now, a lot of the training that astronauts do for this involves studying and understanding how air resistance and gravity work. If astronauts don't get their calculations correct, then the intense levels of heat in the Earth's atmosphere could melt the capsule. Then, at about 8.5 kilometers above ground level, the parachutes are deployed. Astronauts then brace for impact when the re-entry capsule lands on the water. And then, the most exciting bit of all, they wait. A boat will come out and lift them from the water and take them home. Sometimes a helicopter takes the re-entry capsule off the boat's hands, flying it back to base, wherever that may be. So, you may be wondering how long it takes for astronauts to get back to Earth. Well, from start to finish, surprisingly, an astronaut's journey back home on a re-entry capsule can be over in less than 3 hours. Now, that may seem like a long time or a short amount of time, but we have to consider how far these astronauts are travelling. They are flying from the space station up in space, after all. And there is a lot of ground to cover in that time. I mean, the distance between the Earth and the Moon is about 386,400 kilometres. So when we put it this way, it's quite a distance. But thankfully, astronauts cover this distance and this journey pretty fast in a re-entry capsule, travelling at speeds we just couldn't usually comprehend. Now, of course, some journeys will take longer than others, depending on the trajectory of the re-entry capsule's descent, though these journeys never typically exceed 6 hours. What goes up must come down, and that's certainly still the case for an astronaut. It doesn't matter how much fun they're having up there, astronauts have to return at some point. One day, I'm sure humans will be able to pack up and just leave Earth for good. In fact, one day humans will need to do this if they are to survive. But that's a long way from now. Until then, astronauts will have to pack up their bags and enter the re-entry capsule. The fun certainly isn't over. I mean, the best part of riding up a hill on your bike is always the way down. So I suspect it's the same in space. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please do hit the like button. That tells me I should continue recording videos like this, and do consider subscribing to the channel. If you head over to my channel, I've got a whole playlist on videos just like this that you may want to watch, and if you hit the bell button, then you'll be notified of when I release new videos. So with all that said, I hope you have an excellent day.